Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to An Orange Life. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you to new subscribers. Thank you for anyone who has liked, comment, and even if you shared. I don't know if you have or not, but I thank you so much if you did share. Thank you so much. Also, Psychology of Siblings is coming up next. One of my subscribers asked me for it, and I will make sure that she gets it. That's the next one to go up, which will go up next week. Now, you guys see the thumbnail. Let's jump right into it. Now, the psychology of toxic men, and I'm using Love is Blind as my example for a few of these examples for this topic. Now, if you haven't watched Love is Blind season 7 on Netflix, I suggest you watch it because it's a very good example on how toxic men act, because the majority of these men are toxic that were on this season, with the exception of one. And I'm not going to say that he was toxic. He just, I think that he is a good guy. I just think that he needed more time for the show before they got married. But anyway, let's jump right into it because I'm going to start with Steven. I'm going to start with Steven. Steven was on the show with Monica, and they talked in the pods. This is how the show goes. For those of you who've never watched Love is Blind on Netflix, I'll just give you a brief synopsis. On this show, they get so many men, so many women, and they go into these pods. The pods are set up. It's like a hallway, and one side is the men, the other side is the women. They go into these pods. They open doors, and it's like these little enclosed cubicles. They look like little rooms, and they have like a couch and chair and table, and they have alcohol in there and food and stuff like that for so that the purpose of it is everyone goes into these pods and they get to know different people. And the object of this experiment is to see if you can find your match and get married. That's what it's supposed to do. You don't see each other. You're not allowed to talk about your backgrounds as far as what you look like. You can talk about, what your occupation is, your likes and dislikes. The purpose of the experiment is to get to know each other and to see if you can connect with someone on a deeper level, and you go on a honeymoon, what they would consider like I'm not going to say a honeymoon. You go on a vacation. You meet at the end of the experiment. They finally meet, and then they go on this vacation. And then then they come back and live together for a few weeks. And then at the end of the experiment, they meet at the altar with their family and friends, and they decide at that moment if they're going to get married or not. So that's the brief synopsis. Now, having said that, let's dive into the psychology of toxic men using the men on this show. Now, I'm going to start with Steven because Steven and Monica have already left the show. Steven and Monica, they met in the pods, and Steven said all the right things to Monica. They wind up clicking. Steven said a lot of good things to all the women, to tell you the truth. And I myself picked up watching it that it was something off with him. I got it. My red flags immediately went up. My discernment was on. My discernment meter was on 100, and before I even knew any of the things that we found out later on the show. It was just something about him, the way that he was talking, everything about him was just too perfect for me. And we all know that men are not like that. I mean, you have to be real. I'm not saying that a man, you can't find a good man. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is he was saying too many of the right things. And when I hear, I guess you would have to watch it. If anyone who's listening to this has seen the series, just comment below to see if you felt what I felt watching Steven. Because I didn't know what was wrong with him, but I knew there was something. It was something in his eyes, and it's just something that just didn't sit right with me. So I just said, listen, I'll just look at the show and play it out. Now, they made it out of the pods. They wind up connecting. They met. They liked each other. They wind up going on vacation. Now, where the toxicity comes in at is that Stephen was um, he tried to do everything right. Monica was bossy. She was, well, not was. Monica is bossy. She's high maintenance. And it's nothing wrong with being high maintenance, but I think Stephen was a little intimidated by her because she is, high maintenance. She seems kind of demanding. But what makes Stephen toxic, this is where we're going with it. When they met all the other couples at they had a mixer where all the couples came together. And during that mixer, Stephen made a comment about backdoor sex. And it was a rude comment. And he was talking to one of the other contestants. Her name is Taylor. Now he didn't say this comment to, like, directing it at her. He was just making a comment about all these women in his DMs, and then he said something about backdoor sex, and she looked at him like. And then he also said something about a woman giving him oral, and out of these women that are in the DMs, and it was very inappropriate. And Monica, like, got changed the subject real quick because it was very inappropriate. So to me, that should have been the first red flag to Monica, because after that I would have been like, there's something wrong with him. So that was the first, like, really big red flag that was shown on television, like, for everyone to see. Because myself, I had the discernment from the very beginning when he was sitting there trying to act like he's the perfect man. I picked it up right then and there. So for the rest of America that's watching, when he made that comment, red flag should have went up. Because even the young lady he was talking to, Taylor, she looked at him like, what is wrong with you? Like, she gave him like that, what is wrong with you look. Women, we know what that is. So that was one comment. And then he turned around and said another vulgar comment after that. It was another one. And it had something to do with, backdoor sex again. He said it to Monica. He said something about backdoor sex. I'm asking her about it or something like that, or she doesn't do it, or something to that reference. And I found that to be weird as well. So as we go through the episode, Monica finds some text messages on his phone. I can't remember how she stumbled upon the text messages, but she stumbled upon some text message where he was talking to a woman, and he, as a matter of fact, he told Monica he was going to a sleep study and that he would be gone overnight. But come to find out, he was actually going to see this woman. And in these text messages, we didn't hear what the text messages said. We didn't see them. But apparently, they were very, very vulgar, inappropriate, and disgusting, because he must have said some, like, really, like, creepy, like, weird things that you would have to pay for. Or put it like this, it must have been something creepy, whatever, that would be done at a Diddy party. Let's just say that. Because it must have been that bad. Because when she found the text messages, she was like crying. She was upset. She was like, they were disgusting. She's disgusted. And two other cast members had came by the apartment, because by this time they're in the apartments. They're back from vacation, and two other cast members came by and, like, consoled her because that's how bad it was. And the only thing he said is that he was sorry. He was like, I'm sorry, I have no excuse for it, I'm sorry. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, if you guys remember, for those of you who have seen it, and if you haven't, you need to look at my Psychology of Men Deviant Switch video, because I covered this stuff. This is what I'm talking about with men and their deviant behavior, because sexual deviancy is a part of it. And this is a prime example that this man goes on a show, Love is Blind, where you're intended to get married. That is the object of this show. You're supposed to go through this experiment, find someone, marry that person, and that's your person. So why are you going on a show, dating a woman, committing yourself to a woman, lying to a woman, and you know you're a sexual deviant? Like, why would you do that? And also, he owed her money because she said at the end of the clip she wanted her money back. Could he Zelle her $400? So, child, that was just a mess. But anyway, that is a good example of a deviant man, and this is what deviant men do. That's the thing. They will latch themselves on to an innocent victim if you let them. But see, again, Monica did not pay attention to the red flags, which a lot of women don't, especially when it comes to wanting to get married. Women just bypass, they duck and weave and bob all the red flags because they want that ring and to say that they're a wife. And once you get married, because this is leading us into the next story, honey, because this is something. Now, needless to say that they broke up and they left the show before it ended. So they never made it, of course, to the altar. And they weren't there that long when they came back from the vacation because she found the text messages like they were only back briefly. So, so that's why I said that was just insane. Now I'm going to switch gears and I'm going to move to Tyler because this is the biggest one. Uh in the description box I have a link to Jesse Wu's video and I'm going to get to why I put that link there. Now, Tyler and Ashley. Tyler is another one that is, this man is beyond toxic. Beyond toxic. Now, this man came on this show and lied to this girl so bad, straight to her face, from beginning to end. This man acted like he's a church going man. He's a religious man. Every time you turn around, they praying. They prayed before they eat. They prayed before they went to sleep. He always taking her hands to pray. You got to watch the men that be using religion, child, because they anyway, he's acting like he's this, good man, and he wants this and he wants that, and he wants to raise his children to, he's just a perfect man. Okay. Okay. Yeah, man, Savannah. Okay. Yeah, good man, Savannah. Anyway, so what's been going on now on the series as of right now? Today is, I am doing this video Wednesday, October 23rd. I think today's the 23rd. Video all day now. Oh, yes, the 23rd. So the finale came on today. The reunion comes on next week on the 30th. Now, the finale today, as of today, they got married. Now, as of today, they haven't showed what I'm about to tell you because it gets deep. I put the link down in the description box for Jesse Wu's video. It's a 2-hour video. In that video, Jesse Wu has invited this girl. Her name is Ricky. I can't remember her channel. That's why I put the link in the description box because it's all in there. If you want to check out that video to get the full story, then click the link below. And while you're over there at Jesse Wu's, tell her I sent you and subscribe. This is what happened because this is a mess, y'all. I haven't seen nothing this bad on television in a while. Even Married at First Sight didn't have it this bad, child. Okay, let me break it down the best I can. Let's go with before Tyler came on the show, okay? Before Tyler came on the show, I'm going to tell you his background and why this clown is so damn deviant. Prior to him coming on the show, I'm going to go back a few years for Tyler. Tyler was in the military. During his time in the military, he befriended a woman who is a lesbian. And he wasn't seeing her then. He befriended a woman that was a lesbian. This woman has a wife. I think at that time they were dating. The women were dating. but he knew this woman. Now, I may have the story a little off because I'm trying to have recall here. That's why I put the link to the video in there so that if you guys want to listen to this full story, you can listen to the full story. But from what I can remember and gather, he met this woman while he was in the military. During the time that he was in the military, Tyler was participating. Now, this is alleged. This is alleged. I'm gonna say that because I don't have proof. So allegedly, Tyler was having threesomes with a married woman because her husband liked to see her having sex with other men. So Tyler was participating in threesomes in the military. Okay. Now, when he came out the military, the lesbian woman, they were friends. They were really good friends. So during the time of them being friends, she wound up marrying and having a wife. They wanted to have a baby. Tyler was supposed to be a sperm donor. Now, allegedly, I don't know if it's true because there's two different sides to this story. If you guys listen to the Jesse Wu video, according to ex wife's, according to the woman's ex wife, she says that the baby was conceived naturally. What she said is that in the beginning, Tyler was giving them the sperm and they were using a turkey baster and it didn't work. They did it two times. The third time, I don't think he had the sperm. I don't remember what she said about the third time, but the ex-wife stated she believed that the third baby was conceived, through intercourse because and the reason why that the wife is denying it is because the wife was still in the military at the time, and and she was married in the military to a woman. So in the military, if you commit adultery, that is an offense and you get penalized some kind of way for that. So she has not admitted that she had intercourse with him for that baby, because if she admits to it, then that's an offense on her, because the ex-wife did file charges due to the adultery, because she was trying to get 50-50 custody of the child, because they agreed to have this child via sperm donor, because the ex-wife, she's a true lesbian. Now the other one, the one that's friends with Tyler, she's not a true lesbian. The other woman is. She does not want to deal with men at all. So that's why she was upset about her being with Tyler, because being with a man, because she's a true lesbian. So Tyler goes, and this story gets deeper. Tyler goes on this show and told Ashley, the young lady that he's supposed to trying to marry, that he doesn't have any children. He told her that in the beginning. Then he told her that he was a sperm donor for a close friend of his that couldn't have a child, and they were helping them out. She asked him, do he see the child? He said no. Okay. Now, having said that, let's move forward. Now, before Tyler went on the show, this is all that we're going to go back. Before he went on the show, all right, the one child was born. Okay. Okay. Before the child was born, let me go back a little bit more. Tyler was dating this news anchor woman in his town in DC. From what I understand, she's a beautiful woman, very pretty. The news anchor woman did not know that Tyler was the sperm donor for the baby. Tyler took the newswoman to the baby shower and just said that that was his friend, never saying that he was the sperm donor or possible father. Never said anything. So the news anchor lady found out later that he cheated on her, and that's how they broke up. But I'm going to tell you how. Okay. Now, that was the first child. Okay. Now, Tyler and the woman slept together again, and she got pregnant with twins. So the twins was never on this sperm donor, deal. And Tyler signed the birth certificate for the twins. Now, the birth certificate for the first child, I can't remember if he is on it or if the ex-wife is on it. I don't remember. I don't remember what the ex-wife said, but his name is definitely on it for the twins. Now, when the woman when the ex-wife, they went to court because the ex-wife wanted to divorce because of what happened with the twins, because she cheated on her again. She already suspected she cheated the first time, but this time she knows for a fact she cheated the second time. Now, the ex-wife also said that there was domestic violence amongst the two of them because every time she brought up Tyler, it was always a big fight which turned physical. So she said she stopped talking about it, and that's why she wound up breaking up with her when she got pregnant with the twins, because she knew that it just wasn't going to go well from there. So the ex-wife wound up leaving. She moved back to her home state or whatever. She moved out of state. She is not able to get custody of the partial custody of the child because she went to court about it. And what happened is, this is the problem. Because the woman was in the military, they wound up being in some sort, I think it was something that was settled through the military. And the military said that she had no rights, but an outside attorney said that she did and that they could take it further. But she decided not to go further with it because the wife was the type of person that would put her through hell to see the child, because she moved out of state. So she said if she would come to town and want to see the child or take the child, she knows she would give her a hard time. And Tyler was also giving her a hard time because Tyler and this woman teamed up together to push her out of the child's life. So the ex-wife exited out. She's gone. Now, fast forward, she didn't have these twins. Now, mind you, Tyler is helped raising those children. They got Christmas pictures together, everybody in Christmas pajamas. They got all kinds of pictures together. So Tyler is there raising these children actively. I mean, paying everything. So he decides to go on Love is Blind. And he tells the mother of the children, listen, I'm going on this show, and she was like, well, I hope you find somebody, XYZ. And, they agreed that if he did, find someone and they got married, that her and the children would come to the wedding. Okay, now let's bring it forward to Netflix now. He comes on this show and tells this girl Ashley he don't have no kids. He don't say anything about the woman he had the baby with. I didn't expect for him to say anything about the threesomes. But yeah, that's another thing. He was doing threesomes when he was dating the newswoman. That's why she broke up with him. She broke up with him because she found out he was cheating. He was doing threesomes then, so he was having a time of his life with these threesomes, honey. So that's why she broke up with him. So he comes on Love is Blind, and then he lies to this girl straight to her face, all the way to the end. Meets her father. I love her. XYZ. Like he doing the whole nine. I'm God fearing. I want a family. This is the third extra child. It was a mess. So this man is lying his behind off. I mean, big time. Now, mind you, I looked at the series, the final episode, the finale, today, and they got married. They got married. So all this is going to come out at the reunion. Okay, all of this about the kids, and from what I heard, he's going to admit about the first child, but they said he's going to deny the twins. Now, this is where the mother comes in, at the children's mother. She spoke out because apparently she's been talking to Tyler behind the scenes, telling him, you better fix this and say that you got these kids or whatever, or I'm going to tell it. So Tyler never told it. So because he never told it, that's why she came out and talked. And that's why that link is there. Because in that video is the ex-wife and the woman with the three kids. They're not on there at the same time. They bring up the woman with the three kids first, and she tells her part of the story. Then they bring up the ex-wife that tells her part. And I'm gonna tell you something, that story is toxic as hell. That is crazy as hell. And you should see this man on this show crying, marrying this girl, talking about how much he loved her for life, and oh, we gonna start making babies. He said something about he was with his friends and he was like, yeah, what's next after the wedding? Oh, the baby making machine or something, he said. And he was like, oh, she want to have a baby? He was like, yeah, she want one in a year. This man ain't never opened his mouth and say nothing about them children. Not once. And this is what I'm talking about toxic men. Because this is what I'm talking about. This man been lying with a straight face, looking her dead in her eyes, lying every single day. And that's why women have to be smarter. Because if I was dating Tyler and he told me that he was a sperm donor and that he don't have nothing to do with the kids, I'm like, yeah, you got to, I got to see more. Because I'm not, listen, that would be a turnoff for me as well. Because what man, I wouldn't want to marry a man that was a sperm donor for a friend of his because they couldn't have a family. That's something I wouldn't be a part of because of the simple fact that why don't they go do IVF like the rest of the world or a sperm bank? Not IVF, a sperm bank. Like a lot of these lesbians do. Didn't the Brat and BB Judy or whatever the hell her name is, didn't they go do that? So that's why I said if you want a baby, why are you asking me? That's not something that now I'm gonna tell you something in the black community, that's not something that we typically do. And I'm not saying it's never been done and we don't do it at all. I'm saying it's something that's not typically done. This is more so done in the Caucasian community. In the black community, there's no black men running around here just loaning out their sperm, child. These men don't even want to take care of their own children, let alone be a sperm donor, unless you're going to pay them a lot of money and they can sign a waiver that they're not going to be the daddy and they're not responsible. Other than that, these men, the black community, the men ain't going to do that. And I'm not saying there's not black, again, I'm not saying there's not black men who wouldn't do it or have not done it. I'm just saying, as a whole, in the black community, that's something that black men don't do. So that's why I said I find that weird, and I would be questioning it, and I would be questioning. I would want him. I was like, if it's a friend of yours, I want to meet her because I need some answers. I need answers. There's no way I'll walk down the aisle and a man telling me that he was a sperm donor and he don't see the kids. You got to prove that to me, and then I want to know why. Why were you a sperm donor? Why? What were the circumstances? We need way more information. And see, this is the problem. Women want to get, I don't care what color you are, women want to get married so bad. They just ignore everything and then they want to play victim when something happens. You cannot play victim. You cannot. The only excuses that I give for behavior like this is if you're on the spectrum or mental illness. If it ain't one of them two, then I don't want to hear it. Because again, these women are out here like Risa Tisa. Y'all are desperate. Y'all want a husband, you want a ring, and you don't care what you go through with that man. And then when that man drive you crazy and clean out your bank account, then you want to run to social media and do a 55-part series on TikTok to tell us who the F did I marry. No, you knew what you married. You just didn't look at the red flags. So that's why I said women have to be smarter. Another thing is some of the women that have had issues in this series, that's going to have some real issues, didn't have fathers. They both had the same thing in common. Because I'm going to touch on Marissa and Ramses because Ramses isn't. I'm not going to say that Ramses is toxic. I just think that Ramses is just as screwed up as Marissa. That opening scene with Marissa and Ramses is so sad. So sad. Because that girl, she wants to be loved and she's a pick me. And pick me's, this is what happens to pick me's. Because when she's crying and having her breakdown, she says, I just want somebody to choose me. This happens every time I'm with a guy. After 2 months, they want to leave me. And that's because Marissa is a pick me. I watched her on this show. She wants to be and do whatever he wants because she's so desperate. She don't even realize, she didn't even peep the play on when it was that time of the month for her, how he was upset about it and asked her, was life going to be like this all the time married to you? Because the girl got her monthly cycle. She just said she didn't feel good. She didn't do anything out of control. She just didn't feel good. It was that time of the month. But see, what happened was, Marissa jumped in the bed too fast. And that's another issue with these women. Y'all gotta stop jumping in the bed with these men until you know more. Because this is why the girl had a breakdown. Because they were in the bed like bunny rabbits. Every time you turn around, they jumping in the bed. And see, that's the problem. He didn't got all the sex he wanted. So he's like, listen, I don't want to marry this girl. And I don't think that Ramsey intentionally hurt her. I think what it is that he just got caught up in infatuation and sex. And see, again, I'm going to say it again. Men can decompartmentalize. Women cannot. We're too emotional. And men think more with logic than they do with emotion. And what that man said is that he was saying that he got caught up and, they were on a honeymoon and everything was great on the honeymoon. And now that they're back to real life, he's not feeling it. And that's because when they were on a honeymoon, they was in the bed 3, 4 times a day. And that's why he was so happy. So when they came back and real life hits and she has to go to work and he has to do his thing and real life comes along, he's not feeling it anymore. And he said it wasn't going to work. Now, where Ramses went wrong at and where I'm pissed off at Ramses at is that you played with this girl's emotions all the way up to 2 days before the wedding. You kept y'all picking out wedding songs and you telling her y'all gonna get married. You had this girl believing that y'all were getting married. So when you finally said no, she had a breakdown. She had a breakdown. This girl is on the floor crying. Like, I mean, it was painful to watch. If I don't know if anybody has seen it, comment below if you cried, because I did. It was so painful to watch this girl. But again, red flags. These girls, not just these girls, but women, y'all are too quick to open your legs. You're too quick. If y'all just take a minute to just listen to these men, don't be so quick to jump in the bed. You'll save yourself a lot of heartache because these men out here, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care that you on the floor crying. They don't care about none of that. Look at what Tyler's doing. That man is a whole deviant. He lying to this girl in her face on a regular. He married this girl with 3 kids that she don't know nothing about. Whole lie. Look at her in her face every day. I love you. We gonna have kids. This, and the third. You ain't tell this girl none of what happened in your past. Now, mind you, I don't expect him to tell her about the threesomes, but I did expect him to tell her about them kids, and he didn't say nothing. So this girl then married him under the pretense that he don't have any children that he's responsible for, and that he's single, free, and clear. And that's not what happened. So that's why I said this is insane. These men are really toxic. And that damn Ramsey guy, I mean, I'm going to give him a little credit. He did tell her before the wedding, so they didn't get up to the altar, and he tells her there because he probably knew she was going to take it hard. He knew she was clingy. He knew how much she was into him. But again, this girl, Marissa, needs therapy bad. Her mother is something, a piece of work. She is one of five siblings, and all five of them have different daddies. When they went to, please comment below if anybody's seen when Ramses met the mother, and they all sitting up there looking like a rainbow coalition because all these kids is different shades and nationalities and things. This woman is nuts. So Marissa has never seen a successful relationship or marriage because her mother is not married or with any of the fathers of her children. So, and Marissa has difficulty keeping a relationship. And again, she needs to go to therapy. That's what she needs because Marissa didn't have a father. Neither neither did what's the other girl's name? Um Ashley's father wasn't around either growing up. Her father did give her away at the wedding, but her father didn't come into her life until she was grown. So all the hard work was already done. So she's another one. See, women without fathers, women that did not have fathers in their life, they definitely need to go to therapy. And not just fathers, good fathers. There's a difference. So women who didn't have good fathers who loved them and put them on pedestals, they need to have therapy because they're always going to choose the wrong men. You're always going to choose the wrong men. Always. Because you're looking for a daddy slash husband. And it's not supposed to work that way. You're just supposed to be looking for a husband, not a daddy. And that's the problem that these women are having. And women need to stop being so desperate. You need to stop ignoring red flags. Now, if you don't want to ignore red flags, go ahead. Because all you're going to do is you're going to hurt in the end. You're going to be a Marissa, you're going to be an Ashley, and you're going to run into these type of men. Because this is an example of what happens when you ignore red flags. And you're going to be a Monica because you're not paying attention to what's in front of you because you're blinded by wanting a wedding dress and walking down the aisle and a ring and a reception and a cake. You so caught up in that, you're not looking at after the wedding. You in for a lifetime of hell because I can't wait for this reunion because I want to see what's going to happen with Ashley and Tyler because I know Ashley knows all this stuff now because everything that came out already. The women have already came out and talked. The videos in my damn description box. The women that came out and talked already, and this is all, and they're married. They're married. So I'm curious on what is Monica going to do at this point because this is sad. So listen, I'm gonna close this out because y'all know I try to keep these videos at 30 minutes until I get to 1,000 subscribers, and then I can go a little longer and go live and all that kind of mess. But this a thing here, what's it called? Blind Love is Blind. This is the craziest season I've seen thus far. I don't think I've ever seen anything this out there. But see, this is what happens. There's a lot of Tylers out there. There's a lot of Stevens out there. And if you don't start using your discernment, and if you don't start paying attention to them red flags, and if y'all don't stop jumping in the bed in 3 to 5 business days after you meet a man, y'all are going to always have problems. Always. So let me get off this line here, off of these YouTube streets, and I will be back with the psychology of siblings. And I got some more stuff coming down the pike, but I got to give you that siblings one and the psychology of women part 4. Psychology of women part 4 is going to be good because I'm going to be getting on y'all asses, and I'm talking about women because it's a lot to talk about. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good one. Be safe, guys. Please be safe out there, everyone, and I'll get back to you soon.